All righty. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We are live on Instagram. Currently, it is Tuesday at 6 p.m., 6:15 p.m. As always, you can submit your questions Tuesdays through our Instagram. Someone is echoing.
That was you.
Was it me?
Mhm.
All right.
It
Great.
just happened for a split second, though.
Wasn't me. I didn't move.
All right, we're good. Who's starting?
Actually, you know what? If you guys don't mind, I got a couple of ones that I think we can just get out of the way real quick. Bernard's on. I saw him hop on, and he had a weird one that he wanted to bring up. But first and foremost, Matt's wife asked me, "How old are your kids?" I'm assuming she knows how old Vienna is, right?
Yeah.
So my kids then are 4, 9, and 16. So I have 3 kids that are 4, 9, and 16. I'd advise against, but sooner or later they're going to grow up. And then the other one I got is higher. Bernard asked, see, he's already laughing. Bernard asked, do you think that there's a higher agenda with America's caffeine addiction?
Ooh.
I got a conspiracy theory. I knew you'd like this one.
I don't drink caffeine.
What? You don't drink like coffee?
Probably. I mean, probably because I think the whole thing with like Starbucks and Dunkin' is like the super sugary drinks. That is what kills people. They want you to be sick and then have to take drugs and be latched to the pharmaceutical industry for the rest of your life.
So they implemented Dunkin' Donuts.
So the bad people made Dunkin' Donuts. No, actually, I don't like caffeine specifically. I don't know because
it was whoever governs the state that decided to make the slogan "America runs on Dunkin'."
Yeah, no, literally. And then you think, oh my God, I'm an American. I have to run on Dunkin'. I have to drink this 250 grams of sugar drink because I'm American and I run on Dunkin'. And then you have a heart attack and you die.
You guys remember the cartoons from when we were kids where they'd have like the hypnotic thing going on? It would just be like, it's like that. That's exactly what this reminds me of right now. I honestly, I don't know. It's too much for my brain to handle at this point, and I'm going to refuse to comment. But all I know is if they're trying to control me with caffeine, they're winning because I unlike Steve, I enjoy my caffeine. I enjoy my coffee very, very much.
I have a reason.
I don't care. There's no good reason for not drinking coffee.
My anxieties just can't take it.
Really? See, it's weird. I don't know. There's something almost like I get where you're at. Like I understand that. You know what I mean? Like when you're like you take too much in your heart, but at the same time, I feel like there's also a side of it to where when I am a little anxious, getting that it brings up my mood. It's like a mood boost sometimes for me.
I agree. Same.
I just drink Diet Coke. Coke Zero.
That's caffeine.
Coke Zero, no caffeine.
Coke Zero has caffeine in it.
Coke Zero has caffeine.
Yeah,
it's
like
zero sugar.
10, 15 milligrams.
I think a can is probably like
or a bottle. Steve gets buzzed off of that.
75 milligrams, something like that.
That.
I know, but I'm just saying it's worth it to know.
Yeah, D. Coleman's with me, bro. Like, unless it's in Diet Coke, that's it.
You guys are out of your mind.
What is the point of Diet Coke having caffeine, though?
I don't know. That shit.
It's the agenda. That's what it is, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that, dude. It used to be from cocoa beans, the state, the Coke plant. What is it? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like Coke leaves or whatever, right? Like that's where Coca-Cola originally comes from.
Yeah.
And
because I get the caffeine free one so I can have it at 8 p.m.
I haven't had a skim pre-workout Coleman in it's at least 5 years. At least.
Yeah, I haven't.
Six cups of coffee a day with a pre-workout. Now we're talking.
But like, adrenals check.
Yeah, I know I have a coffee addiction, so I actually make my coffee half calf. Like I literally have decaf and regular, and I split it 50-50 because I know I'm going to drink 97 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah,
that's self-awareness at its finest.
At least you're on.
That's what
self-awareness at its finest.
Self-awareness.
Yeah. I would say zero chill sparkling water has 0 calories. Yeah, give or take. All right, so not yet.
Lover.
You can't have a cup before bed, damn it. That's too far. Now you're taking it too far. She's drinking coffee before she goes to bed.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, God.
messaging MILF Lover on Instagram. Where you at, bro? The
Gorilla Mind, I really didn't like that pre-workout at all.
hell is Gorilla Month?
It's a supplement brand, and they came out. They have a pre-workout that I thought was like, I thought that's what made them popular or whatever, but I don't know. I didn't really notice anything from it whatsoever, including the caffeine. And I'm not that tolerant to caffeine. So does anybody have a real question they want to start with?
I have one. So tips for training around an injury.
Oh,
Tim or Steve, you guys
Yeah,
are both
Joe for
fucked
this.
up, so yeah.
Tim, we're built for this one.
Make sure you use half of your monthly budget for life on growth hormone. That's where I would start. Yeah,
EV 500.
right. Keep going, keep going. I just bought 4 bottles of BVC.
Yeah, growth. And just, you gotta, well, I guess we should answer this serious now. So you gotta find movements, I would say, that work around whatever the issue is, right? Like if it's a tear and stuff, of course, like obviously don't train it, right? Like what's the severity of the injury, I think would be obviously first, but then take like my shoulder, for example, right? The issue's not going anywhere and the pain until I get surgery on it, right? So I found movements that don't aggravate it to the point where I'm still able to stimulate, right? So I don't do dumbbell presses anymore. I don't do a Smith machine press. I don't do a free bar. It's all machines and it's side laterals using a machine or a cable where I can keep tension, but stimulate it and not cause the injury and the bone spur to kind of flare up, you know what I mean? More than it already is going to naturally. Think if it's a tear and like that is, that's something you got to ask yourself, like, can you even train through that? You know what I mean? Like, I have a very slight meniscus tear. I got told when I got an MRI like 4 years ago. It's obviously hasn't been fully torn or anything to the point where I have pain there. But, it's just things to be mindful of. Like that I can train through, right? But ask yourself, what's the severity? And can you even train through it to begin with?
Yeah, I would say for me that it's got to come back to like mechanics, right? And execution and like understanding. Like the reality is for most of us that have some sort of injury, unless it's a freak thing like you're benching and you snap your chest, right? And it like legitimately goes on you. Yeah, at that, like, obviously that's something where it's like even that could have been something that built up over time realistically, but that could also be something where we just didn't have the ability to get there in that range of motion, whatever it is, and it finally snapped. But I think in most cases, like the wear and tear that we're experiencing, like my knee, for example, like you have a bone spur going on. I think that's exactly what's happening in my knee too, but I need to get that. I have, tears in my rotator cuff, in my labrum. The bottom line is those are things that happen from me probably doing stupid shit. Not probably, from me doing stupid shit for too long that I shouldn't have been doing. My knee most certainly was from not squatting appropriately. I just wasn't squatting the right way. I had poor ankle mobility. I still went through with it over and over and over again and tried to just kind of like, muscle your way through it or whatever. And sooner or later, those things come back to bite you. It might not be now, it might not be, right away, but down the line, it's going to come back to get you. So looking at it from the standpoint of what have I been doing wrong? And how can I do this a little bit better? Maybe it'll reduce the pain, but it'll absolutely reduce potential risk for injury later on.
Right.
I like it.
I agree with everything you guys say. The other thing I would say is like use it as an opportunity to get better at executing movements. So I'm doing that currently, right? So I have a pinched nerve in my neck, and it just happened recently, but it like pretty much killed all the strength in my right arm, right? Like I literally was dumbbell pressing 60s on an incline dumbbell press, and I could probably do like 130s, 140s, right? So I took the time. Obviously, I'm getting the rehab in parallel, right? But I took the time to like basically just try to make my form as flawless as possible. And my form was already good prior, right? Obviously. But now I'm at a point probably like 4 or 5 weeks into recovery for this pinched nerve, which by the way happened. I have no idea how. I just woke up one day and I had a pinched nerve. So 5 weeks later, I mean, now I'm pressing hundreds on incline dumbbells. And the mind and muscle connection is like so much better because I took the time to like really evaluate how I can optimize the movement. So use the time productively. Don't just use it as a time to, do pump work in the gym, right?
I like that. No, I like that you are approaching it that way too. That's a different way of looking at it. Like when people will normally just sit back and be like, I can't do anything, I'm hurt. Which, like, yeah, there's a time and a place for that too, but definitely don't think that you can't do anything.
All right, who's next?
I got two easy ones from Sam, Matt's wife. Okay. One, favorite prep friendly condiment. So do you guys think seasonings are condiments?
Oxygen. Suck oxygen. No spice. No, just kidding.
God. Do you guys
Um,
would you guys say seasoning is a condiment?
No,
Then I don't really
No.
use condiments.
well, I think
Yeah.
it's still valid. What do you, I mean, I don't know, actually. I don't know. What seasonings do you use either way?
I've been using Spice Beast.
Spice
don't-
Beast?
Spice Beast. He's at some shows. I think
Oh, I know what you're talking
he's
about.
always at Big
Yeah.
Cat. Yeah, he's always at Big Cat. And
I had the Cajun one. That shit is good.
I can't do any of the spicy ones. I just do the Power Mix and the Meat Madness one. Those are so good. I put that on everything. So literally just new different spices is what I use instead of just always doing, paprika, onion powder, whatever the fuck. Tim, do you have any?
I'm sorry, I was playing in the comment section again.
Harassing more people.
Condiments. Spicy, hot and spicy mustard, sweet and spicy, sweet and spicy mustard.
Condiments
That's
are
it.
wet,
Life is
Marina.
over. It's my condiment of life. I've sent it to you, Steve, haven't I?
No.
I sent you a picture of this hot and spicy mustard. Dude, don't lie to me.
Oh no.
Oh,
Not hot
mustard.
spicy.
Actually, mustard is fire.
Sweet and
Mustard is fire.
spicy.
I got it from Walmart.
Absolutely delicious, right?
It is good.
It's definitely the best condiment. That and
So-
Frank's Red Hot.
I put that on my beef, but I put spicy mustard on my chicken and rice.
Spicy mustard on chicken and rice. Yeah, I can get down with that. Spicy mustard is kind of my go-to. Like if I had a go-to, and anybody that's been in prep knows, like I kind of fell in love with mustard during prep, and I
Yeah.
can have any kind of mustard,
Yeah.
essentially.
I would say condiments acceptable. Like I tell people in prep, like mustards, sugar-free ketchup, as long as you're not drowning your food in it. Some of the G Hughes, like the sugar-free barbecue, is okay to a certain point. Like I'll tell you when that shit's gone,
Mhm.
And Frank, like, and a variety of different hot sauces. Typically, I'll just say get Frank's Red Hot. It's just the safest bet. I try and tell people stay away from like all that Walden Farm shit, just
Yeah.
because of the artificial. We touched on that right the other week, but so I think like those 3 or 4 are pretty acceptable.
Ooh, actually, what do you
Are
guys
you-
think of Flavor Gang?
Never
To a
tried
certain
it.
point, yeah. I just never
They're like-
recommend
yeah.
it to people because like I have before and people are like, Steve, I'm not spending $20 on a and I'm like,
Yeah,
listen,
that's what I was
Yeah.
just gonna say.
they're delicious, but I also like try to be mindful of like
Of course.
someone's financial also, like the means of that, because sure, I have clients who do have that, like lifestyle clients and stuff. They go to Aries and they just freaking buy like 4 of them at
Mhm.
once, and that's great. But I've also had clients who are like, Steve, I need something that's like $3 at like Walmart. And I'm like, okay, I understand,
Yeah.
and then I'll tell them like, just get Frank's Red Hot or mustards are fine or G Hughes. So,
Honestly, it's no hate on the company that makes them or any condiment that's that expensive, but I would say there's always like you could legitimately buy a $10 condiment if you want, which is still crazy, and buy a pound of bison. Like I don't see any
No, that makes
reason
sense.
for buying a $20 I just don't get it.
no,
Like,
I'm with you.
you just rattled off literally, and within those different companies that you brought up too, like G Hughes and whatnot, there's fucking 35 different sauces to choose from.
Yep.
They're all within $3. You know what's weird though? What about any of you guys ketchup people?
Yes.
Are you really?
Sometimes.
So what do you eat ketchup on, Steve?
My eggs, my whole eggs.
Yeah, that's it for me.
And I put it in beef too, sometimes in rice.
Yeah, I can
I'm Puerto
eat it.
Rican, so I put it on my rice.
I used to love ketchup.
Ew,
I
you
would
put ketchup on
anything.
just the rice?
Well, rice and like chicken, like I'll put it on like if it's
Oh,
chicken and
okay,
rice, I'm
okay,
putting it on
okay.
chicken and rice.
Okay, I
But,
was gonna
like,
say just Maria sitting there with a bowl of
No,
rice
no,
and
no.
ketchup.
I grew up literally eating rice with just ketchup because I was raised like that.
Damn.
Oh,
And one thing I can't get behind either is that flavored cream of rice. That's just like
oh yeah, dude.
I like
You
that.
haven't tried it. You haven't tried it.
I
dude.
like
You're
it.
crazy.
Now you're being a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
You took
I
it
tried-
one step too far.
I tried the bowl. So I'm not a big cream of rice guy. Like I would rather, like Johnny has put that in my plan, and I text him, I'm like, dude, take that shit out. I want
Get it shut up right
rice.
now.
I want rice. Like I'd rather have rice mixed with like soy sauce and Frank's Red Hot than sit there and eat fucking sand. It's just I
Well,
don't
you're
like
not
it.
cooking it right.
So in the morning, I'll say this, in the morning, I like it because I've got 30 grams of whey in there. And that's my only whey I have for the day. And then he has me doing right now strawberries, blueberries, and banana. So it's that with grass-fed butter and the whey in there. I don't taste the sand, but pre-workout, if you give me a chicken option or a whey option, I'm choosing the whole food over protein powder and cream of rice.
Yeah, but you could still have like whole food protein with your cream of rice.
Yeah, I'd rather eat. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know, man. It's just there wasn't cream of rice wasn't a thing 13 years ago when I started. It was eat your fucking rice, like cream of rice with me. I just don't get it. It's not for me.
Fucking delicious is what
Cream of
it
rice
is.
is good.
Okay.
Are you
It's
talking?
fucking
Are you talking
delicious.
plain or the flavor?
I want rice
Flavored
and
is fine.
grinds.
Rice and
I'm a
grinds.
rice
Okay,
and
I've had
grinds.
rice
Yeah.
and grind. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good, but for me, I've cooked it on the stove, right, and that's way better than the microwave. But
Yeah.
me sitting there eating this, and it tastes like I'm on at Ocean City eating fucking sand. I'm like, I'd rather just eat rice.
Dude, the
There's-
maple
there's-
waffle.
Oh,
I've never had that
See, that's
one.
or they're just the brown sugar is what I have now because I don't think they had maple waffle. in the
Blueberry
big one in the morning.
muffin, guys. Blueberry muffin is superior.
Brie,
I'll
I
eat
know you
all
love-
of them other than coconut.
The coconut's good. I like the coconut.
I don't do coconut.
I don't
I'm
like
not-
coconut.
My client
I
Dom
actually,
said the same
I'm one of those.
thing.
I get coconut. I really wish I liked coconut. I
Yeah.
get it. It sounds good. I just don't like it. Can't do it.
What were you
No,
saying,
I-
Steve?
My client Dom's here. She said it tastes like sand. She
Okay,
thought
but
that I
you're
liked it
not
too.
you're not dressing it up properly if it tastes like sand. That's what
He's
that's-
definitely eating it just plain white, like
yeah, they're like,
old
"Mm,
cream
this
No,
is
no, no, no.
literally
I just
no
told you, I
water.
mix-
It's like-
I mix
it's
all
like-
this fruit and my whey in the morning, and
No,
it's
yeah.
it's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I can deal with that. But I would rather like pre-workout. I'd rather eat white rice.
I mean,
and
I
cream
think
cheese.
I'd rather eat white rice though. Like, I know it depends. I'm not even gonna say that. It depends.
Yeah, there's got to be like a 50-50 thing. Like I think there's points like where I don't want to look at
Ew,
rice. I don't want to
Brie,
look at white
plain with
rice.
cinnamon.
Yeah, that's
Psycho.
kind of gross, Brie.
Bree's sick in the
Holy
head.
shit.
He's sick in the head.
in many
Okay.
aspects.
Second one from Sam. Quick one. Favorite cheat meal: burger and fries.
Burger fries.
Cheesesteak.
I've been a burger. I really cheesesteak.
Yeah, I love cheesesteak.
Actually,
Or maybe
you look like a
sushi.
cheesesteak guy.
The hell
You
does
really
that
do.
mean?
You look like a cheesesteak guy. for
How
sure.
how do I look like a
100%.
cheesesteak guy?
All I'm saying is we had to like define everybody based on food. I would go cheesesteak.
Meant
you,
for
sure.
old people.
Why though? I want to hear this. I'm
I
actually
honestly, I don't-
flattered, but I, want to hear
I don't
why.
have a good reason. I feel like most people would agree with me on that.
Is it
though.
my
Like,
eye?
when
Is
we're-
it my eyes?
It's definitely your eyes.
I know.
100%. I grew up a burger and fries guy. Literally, like I've always been a burger and fries guy. And then recently, I don't know how or when, but I've turned into a big pizza guy. So I would go pizza with my cheat meal.
Yeah, but then you're on
This
the
is
toilet,
fire.
like, nonstop.
I'm gonna end up on the toilet one way or the other,
Yeah,
Steve.
it's a good point.
I can eat an entire pizza and have no stomach issues at all. None.
Yeah, I think like pizza, I really like I can hammer, but now that I'm just like so ingrained in like eating the way I eat my food, I don't think I can just have pizza. I need to have a source of protein or I'll go crazy.
All right, we'll put buffalo
Cheese is
chicken on it.
protein.
Cheese is
Bu-
not protein.
Buffalo chicken on it.
No, what pepperoni, dude? Like, can we start with like basic pizza first and work our way out?
What are you
Pepperoni's
laughing? What did Emma
spicy.
say? Hey, you're laughing at it.
She said cream of rice is for old
For
people.
old people.
She's one of my
I
clients.
just
Yeah, she
spit.
doesn't like it either. I'm like transitioning all my clients to not like enjoy cream of rice like me.
That's a horrible thing. You're basically Hitler.
Uh,
All right, so that was a good one. Is there anything you wish you did differently when you started coaching?
yeah. I wish that I didn't give people my phone number at the time, my personal line. Definitely that's number one. I wish I had a check-in time for sure.
What do you mean you wish you had a check-in time?
Like when I first started, dude, and like I had like my first 5 clients like over like 6 months, and
Milk
Milk Lover's
Lover.
here. Hell yeah. What's up, dude? I didn't have a check-in time. So I was like, oh, your check-in day is Monday. And then like I didn't have like, okay, if I don't have it by 11 or 10, like so I was, you know what I mean? But I also couldn't do that because I was still working in the school district. So I was like, okay with them coming in at 4 or 5 PM, you know, so those would be two things. There's a few others that I'm just not gonna mention for the public to hear.
I kind of now
I
want to know what
don't-
that is.
I don't think I have anything.
I would have been more stern too. I could say that, like, for sure. I would have been way more of a coach and not as much of like friendly talking. Like I'm gonna say, like, I do definitely try and get a good relationship with all my clients as long as like that's reciprocated back. Like you can kind of tell who's kind of there to let you learn how they are as a person so you can coach better. You know, Tim, you guys know what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's some who are like just straight cold face, check in, never ask questions, do their shit, and they're a great client that in that sense, right? But then it also makes the relationship better when they understand, like if you tell them like in their check-in, like, hey, listen, you're fucking slacking off, get back on your shit because you're not gonna progress. You're coaching then, and then it can go back to like, you know, just BS after that, but you're doing your job at the time, you know? So I would have definitely been more stern up front. I think that's probably the biggest one, honestly. And more straightforward instead of like, oh, you had a bad week. Listen, we all do. We'll have a better week next week. Now I'm like, listen, you're fucking up and you're not getting better.
Yeah.
You have to do better. So
Matt, did you start coaching under Steve or were you coaching before Steve?
I started coaching before Steve, so maybe like March this year, I had officially started coaching. Like I had been helping people prior to that, but it was getting to the point where like, you know, the demand was actually starting to come in. So I was like, fuck it, let me start actually doing this officially. So I stood up like a small little business myself. And I did that for a little while, and then it just kind of like made sense to come under Steve because there are things that I didn't know. And it just made it more natural rather than like going to him if I had a question or wanted a second opinion, to like officially be part of the team. You know what I mean?
That was actually that was going to be my question there though. Like, were you able to rely on him while you started coaching as far as the support system?
Oh, of course, yeah, 100%.
No, I didn't know maybe like you were coaching before you guys even started working together or anything like that. Because that's very, like you said, you don't have anything you want to change. Actually, maybe Matt, if you don't mind, do you want to answer the question first before I even go?
I mean, I'm not sure if there's much that I would change. I think, you know, the question is always like, should I have just reached out to Steve initially when I was getting the demand and started from there? But I think it was good to be able to get some of the experience myself and build a little clientele base on my own to like prove to myself that I could do it. So no, I don't think there's anything I would do different.
Yeah, I think if I could do something differently, that's kind of where I was going. Like, I didn't even think about this until you said something, Marina, but like maybe having some sort of a mentor to be able to help support me a little bit more. I didn't have the original my first couple of coaches weren't really like relationships that I had with those coaches. It was really a lot more like straightforward, bing bang boom, you know, check in, don't talk to me again, I'll see you next week type of deal. You know what I mean? That's what coaching was back then. But obviously, again, we're talking, you know, this is close to 20 years ago. So it's one of those things where I wish I had more of a 20 years ago, not 20 years ago, my bad.
so you're
More
fucking
like,
old, Jesus.
yeah, no, it was more like whatever. My first coach was probably like 2011, 2000, yeah, probably like 2011, something like that.
1961.
Fuck yourself. But anyway, back then it really was like it was a new thing. You know what I mean? Like I got my first coach you know, the bottom line is I just think I wish I had somebody that I could kind of bounce things off of, you know, work through these different problems. And like I would have made a lot less mistakes very early on, right? Because I think the biggest issue that a lot of people have is that they go into it and they think they know everything. Right. There was also not as many educational pieces in play back then that there is now. Nowadays, you can get education from so many different realms. Right. Back then, we just didn't have that. Right. So a lot of my initial helping people was through experience that I had. Right. Because at that point, I had already been in the industry and doing things for whatever, close to 10 years at that point, or over 10 years at that point, because I am that old. Right. I had been in this industry for 20 years. But again, the bottom line is I wish I had that mentor or somebody that I could bounce things off of, or somebody that I can kind of talk to as far as the way that they approach things, so on and so forth. I think honestly, the first mentor that I got was somebody that helped me out a lot. Actually, the second mentor I got probably helped me out even more in terms of like just the business aspect of things, like taxes and shit like that I didn't even think of originally.
Dude, you had a
Yeah.
mentor. You had D-ball at the gym.
Yeah. Well, D-ball was honestly D-ball. I would say was one of my initial mentors, but not somebody that I would rely on for coaching advice. Online coaching, right?
How much D-ball do I
if I
take?
need male stripper advice, I'll go to him.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, my process has been perfect. No, I just think that obviously Tim has helped me so much. And I'm so grateful for that, that I look back and I don't regret a single thing. I think that it's been pretty smooth. I obviously have tons of support between Tim and Austin and stuff that like I feel really, I guess, just supported and just like, I'm good.
Nice. Marco says do a backflip, Steve.
Me?
Yeah.
Who is that, Marco? Do you know?
Yeah, Marco was a beast. He decided to stop competing. He doesn't like doing it anymore. But if you go back and you look at some of his pictures, he was an absolute beast in classic physique.
Oh, nice.
I
What's
wish
this-
people could
what's
send
this called?
pics.
What are the attire for bodybuilding competitions? So men wear trunks, women wear suits. And what food can lead you to six pack? Just message one of us.
Yeah, dieting. He has. He's messaged us up. He's a big fan of the podcast. Actually, he reaches out a lot. He's a big fan. And really enjoys the podcast that we do. So we appreciate you being here, brother. But yeah, bodybuilding trunks. There's shorts for men's physique, and then for women, obviously it's different attire. But as far as six pack abs and obliques go, man, it's just diet. Diet.
All right, who's next?
Where do you buy most of your groceries?
Stop and
Is that a
shop.
question you got?
Yes.
Oh.
Stop and Shop. Oh yeah, I forgot the company. Wakeford Foods is out in New Jersey. Stop and Shop.
Stop and shop is a mile from me. Okay, I don't.
Convenience fair. Costco and BJ's.
Yeah, that's same for me. I go BJ's, Sam's Club, and like loose end stuff, ShopRite or Walmart.
Steve, check our chat on the computer. I usually I'm
What?
Wegmans or ShopRite. Well, actually, that's not true. I'm sorry, Whole Foods or ShopRite, and once in a while Wegmans when I want some sushi.
Actually, lies. I go to Wegmans for chicken because their branded like Wegmans chicken is Bell and Evans, so it's cheaper.
We're getting a Wegmans right by my house. Actually, I don't think there's any on Long Island, so I'm actually pretty pumped about it. It's like
Really?
2 seconds from my house.
Best sushi on earth, dude. You're in for a treat.
Really?
Wait,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. Sushi? Are you
See what
serious?
Bill
No,
Fuller said?
Wegmans though.
Look what
Yeah,
Bill Fuller
Wegmans
said.
sushi is fucking fantastic.
It's
Dude, Stop and Shop is expensive as hell. Who goes to Stop and Shop?
It's a mile from me. It's not expensive as hell.
It's expensive as
It's
fuck.
the same.
Yeah.
Stop
It is
and
the
Shop is the
exact
place
same.
where it's like, yeah, they have like regular name brand mustard is $5 there for some reason. I'm like, where the fuck
Whoa.
am I?
No,
Stop and
not-
Shop
No,
is
we're
crazy
going to
expensive.
not the
Walmart.
one that I go to.
Hell yeah, I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to Super Center, baby.
Yeah, Walmart, great value, dude.
We don't have a good one by me at all.
that
Like the one
sucks.
by me is the one that has like they don't have a real shopping center area thing.
We
Food shopping.
got Lidl by
The
me.
robots.
Do
Oh
you
wait,
guys have
there's
Lidl?
robots in Stop and Shop, and I literally fight them every day.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like,
are robots there.
My daughter is afraid of the robots. Actually.
Aldi.
What did you say about the Lidl?
Oh, do
Matt?
you guys have Lidl?
Yeah, we have one right. I have one right by me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I go there a lot. That's right by my house.
They actually had good. Last time I went there, they had good. They had a good price and good. It was like pretty good steak. Different steaks.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Aldi once when I lived up north, and now they're opening one right in the Freehold Mall, which is again a few miles from me. So I'll be going there once it's open. Cause it's good. It's good stuffs. Child.
Is it bedtime? No, it's not bedtime. It's 6:45. She's just
Yeah,
saying
it's
hi,
bedtime.
daddy. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
God bless.
my kids sleep for like 12 hours, legit, both of them.
You are the luckiest
What
man
is
on earth.
Waze?
It's no luck, dude. My wife sleep trained them.
To be honest with you guys, I think I'm gonna order a cheesesteak when we're done this.
Have you guys ever heard of Waze?
Wings?
Waze. Emily goes Aldi, Costco, Waze.
Where should the number be when you compete on show? What number?
Where should the number be when you compete on show day? Oh, your little tag number. So
On the
for
left side.
obviously, well, yeah, guys, wherever they tell you to put it, but girls, on your dominant hip when you pose.
Bree, you're not ordering a cheesesteak. This is
All right.
this is
Anyway.
do as I say, not as I do.
Next question. Got to check out Wild Fork Foods. Where the fuck is Wild Fork? Where are all these places coming
Tim,
from?
we don't leave our house.
Oh, guys, in
bro.
the farmers market, do you guys have farmers markets by you?
I think everybody has farmers markets by
That's
then.
that is
I wouldn't know, I
clutch
don't
for
leave.
produce.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
that the farmers market's a bit much. I mean, that's one of those ones where it's like where like it's anxiety city. You know what I mean? I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to
Well,
happen.
Yeah,
You
I'm
have to
not
go at the
going
right
into
time.
any
Every time I've
grocery store
gone,
I haven't been in already.
empty.
I'm not trying to try new stores.
Wait. Oh,
You're a
produced
leader, team?
wise. Wise. Sorry,
All right,
guys.
next question.
Okay.
When should you start dieting down for summer for lifestyle and competitors? And this is one of my clients that asked this question. So I want to just lead this off with, if you're a competitor, you shouldn't be dieting or even thinking about dieting
Unless you're
at any point. Yeah, or at any point whatsoever, unless you've had that conversation well in advance with your coach. So don't even fucking think about it, because you're not dieting for summer just to diet for summer if you want to be the best competitor you want to be.
Yeah, Matt,
If
we're
it's
going
off
straight
season,
through the
it's off
summer,
season.
fat baby.
Oh god, dude, I have 12 full months of off season left.
It's all
I'm
good.
not-
The MPP and the Anadrol are right around the corner.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun
So,
summer.
so we'll up my telmisartan to 200 milligrams a day then,
240.
just to be safe.
We're doing 100 megs for every 500 milligrams MPP.
There
And
you
for
go.
every 2 units, we push the growth up another 10 milligrams.
Okay.
Of telmisartan.
We'll be good.
People are going
Very
to think
fat,
this is
Dan, very
serious.
fat.
Yeah.
But for lifestyle, so getting ready for summer, I would
Depends how fat you
say,
are.
well, it depends how fat you are, but probably start tightening up like February, so that you're ready by like peak summer, so like July, and then you can kind of start to bring food up at the end of July through August, and you're still lean, and then so on and so forth. And that's what Tim taught me.
Yeah, that's what I would usually go with. Like either like probably like somewhere in February, maybe late February, even that way you're kind of, you're plotting it out where it's like, okay, March, April, May, like those are the months that we're kind of dieting. And then when June, July comes around, we've already kind of hit that peak point or been in that peak point for a little while. Maybe it's a little bit easier for you to go out and have a day here, or go out and have a day there, because we've already gotten the effect that we're looking for. But at the same time, like you start too soon, like people are like January 1. I'm going for it. It's like, okay, cool. But now you're lean by May, and you ultimately have to start reversing at some point in there, depending on where you've gone, So yeah, I think timing is important, but I think what Steve said is realistic too, where it's like the other side of it is, there are so many people. Somebody posted a screenshot of this in one of their Facebook groups or whatever, where some lady literally asked, like, guys, I got to lose 30 pounds by the middle of March. What's the fastest way that I can lose these 30 pounds by then? I'm dieting and exercising, but it's not coming off fat enough. How do I kick this up a notch? And it's like,
Whoa.
bitch, you're not, you starve yourself all you want. It ain't happening. Like there's no, like you can literally not do anything until now in March, and your fat ass is still not going to be down 30 pounds. I'm
Why
sorry,
don't
but
you
that's
have
not the
that
truth. It's
deadline?
the 100% the truth.
Why didn't you have that deadline?
What? I don't know. It was a screenshot. I didn't see any comments or like part of the conversation other than that. But like at the end of the day, who cares? Like again, realistically, I'm telling you, and this is something where I always go back to the show that I watch, Naked and Afraid. I love Naked
Oh,
and
dude,
Afraid.
that
It's
show is
actually-
awesome.
It's awesome, right? But like, if you watch it before, like every single episode, at the end of the episode, they will show you how much weight the male and the female have lost. And like there'll be episodes where they don't eat shit, but like some fucking like snails and some fucking stupid like leaves or fruit that they found over 14 or 21 days, right? And then at the end of these 21-day challenges, they show how much weight, like Caroline's seen it too. They show how much weight these people have lost. And for the female, it's always like they lost 13 pounds. So in 21 days, they ate nothing but like 1,300 calories over 21 days, right? And they fucking still only lost like X amount of weight. Like there's only so much that your body's going to give you in a period of time. It doesn't matter what you do, literally up to and including starving yourself. Right. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if you don't plot out to have the right timing, you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to be fucked and you're going to be frustrated.
Yeah. How can competitors get better with posing?
You
Get
can-
a posing coach.
Well,
And
you,
what? Oh, what?
you could just, yeah, you contact Marina and she'll help you with
Well, I
posing.
don't pose men though.
Oh,
You
that's
you
right.
do
I
now.
looked it up.
Contact Marina.
Yeah, I post men. I post men. And how do you competitors pose for show? It depends on your division and your own physique. Who's
Right.
next? Questions?
You want to just get this one out the way. Does size matter?
Oh God.
Oh, is this Milf Lover? This is your question, man. Are you still in the
Let's
building?
see.
He better be
Lover?
here, right? Answering these.
Um,
Where is he at? No, he's
Oh,
he's
not.
we're supposed to
not.
keep
He's
that-
not here.
Oh, I was gonna say, were we supposed to keep that on the DL anyway, in terms of whose question that was?
Oh, he's not here now, so it don't matter. But
My bad.
does size matter? Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's there.
With
The
the
man is
tail.
here.
Miller.
My
We're gonna
man.
get hit with a discrimination
back.
charge because we
Yeah.
only give Milf Lover love.
Size of what? Sam, you know what we're talking about. Come on. What the
The size of what?
Milf Lover, since this is your question, would you like to clarify the size matter of what?
Size of your biceps?
Yeah, it could be.
Size of your
Damn
delts?
it! I hope.
Hit
I hope
hit
that's
us
not
with the
case.
eggplant, Milf Lover. Hit us with the eggplant. I know it's coming. I love
No,
how
he's
he
out.
he sends a tongue with two eyes. I feel like we need to meet this kid, Tim. I really do.
I feel like he needs to be in the live.
Yeah, this kid's all. I love this kid.
You need to get him to the shed, dude.
Leg day.
Yeah, we have to. Have him
Obviously,
on
my
the,
muscles. The size of your
See,
muscles
Steve, you weren't
matter.
supposed to say anything. Now we can't go through the question. We're supposed to. This is
Yeah.
He
supposed to
said,
be
obviously, my
incognito.
muscles with the
Yes. Size of your
Milf
muscles
Lover, what'd you
matter.
really mean?
So obviously my muscles.
Oh, John, what's up, dude?
So my client Matt actually just jumped in. What's up, Matt? So he's actually doing Atlantic States this year. He's gonna do Masters Classic, and he's definitely gonna crush it. And he's probably I'm gonna have him do Universe after that as well. But Matt asked, do you guys think a CPAP is necessary if you snore at all, or does body weight size dictate?
I would go to a pulmonary doctor
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah, that's the first piece is you need to find out if you have sleep apnea or not. So if you get a sleep study done and you snore a lot, but you don't have sleep apnea, is there anything you should do about it? I think so, but
I would go.
Maybe
I
like
would.
a nose strip.
Yeah, I was gonna say the nose strip. That's exactly what I was gonna say. And then
Yeah.
I would just tell them to set up an appointment with a pulmonary doctor and let them do their thing with the tests and stuff. And then because if he needs it, it's definitely going to enhance his sleep, especially dude. He's about to start prep. Like it could be big.
yeah.
Could help.
Yeah, the other thing, obviously, all those things. The other thing, it's funny. I was just looking into this recently because I snore a lot. And I woke up choking the other night, so I'm thinking I'm getting sleep apnea too. Fucking shit. I
Well,
believe.
for you, it's probably the food too. You know what I mean? It's probably a combination of the weight that you're gaining and the food.
Yeah. Mouthpieces. So apparently they make mouthpieces that can help with snoring and stuff. I don't know how I feel about all that. I don't want to sleep with something in my mouth, but something else to look into if you want to try.
Yeah. I think anything you can do to avoid anything for that and like trying to get it done. I don't know what word to use there naturally, not that a CPAP isn't natural or whatever, but you guys know what I mean by that. Because at the end of the day, sleep, a CPAP could be the best thing in the world for somebody. Don't get me wrong, but everybody has heard the stories of people trying to sleep with a CPAP machine on, and it's just a pain in the ass. It's hard to get used to, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure it'd be the same thing with a mouthpiece. So trying to work your way around that the best you can is probably, what we'd want to try to accomplish there.
Damn, Sam's throwing me under the bus. You gotta get tested. She has earplugs. Next thing she's gonna bring up the size matters and fucking
Yeah, I
Get
would
on
also
the-
say
You got
on the-
two
on the
kids with
size-
her. It don't matter.
on-
Bro.
Yeah, on the size matter conversation, I would say no, it's obviously the motion in the ocean, but I'm just pointing that out. I know Christine is here and she can comment however she would like. But Matt's had 2 kids, so we know size isn't necessarily. I'm only kidding, Matt. All right. So next question, right? Let's go with 3 things people should know about bodybuilding before they get started.
Ooh,
that's a good
Good
This is
one.
actually from one of our competitors too. So this is one of those ones where she had a really tough time her first show where it was like, are we going to make it or are we not going to make it? And she's ended up competing again, done really well. and wants to continue to compete at this point. But that first show was kind of one of those ones where it was like, it was tough.
So from my perspective, I would say number one, first and foremost, it's very expensive to do right. Number two, it requires more commitment and discipline than anything you've probably ever done in your life. And the third is it's tough to balance prep and manage relationships and your job, your normal day to day, especially your first time. So just know it's going to be a bit of like an emotional roller coaster. Those are the three things I would say.
I would say that's exactly what.
Yeah,
I would say.
that's
Honestly, the only thing I would add to that is maybe on like a more positive side, like when you get through those things, knowing how hard all that shit is, it can be a very like self-fulfilling, self-rewarding, and it kind of lights you up with the reality where it's like, fuck, I just did that. Like I literally like post show, it literally like you sit there with yourself after that first show, and it's literally one of those things where you're like, fuck, dude, like I really did just do that. What was
Yeah.
that thumb?
I was trying to get the little bubble thumb.
yeah,
like
you
you.
keep getting
Is
the
that how you do
bubble.
it?
I don't know. Well,
Oh.
every time you do a thumbs up, the little bubble comes up. So I was agreeing with you. I was trying to.
Yeah. No, but you hit the nail on the head, Matt. But one thing I would add is just like you shouldn't take it lightly. You shouldn't use it to cover up any like deep rooted issues, whether you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. If you have your own, internal struggles, like make sure your head is screwed on straight before getting into something as serious as a prep, because that can easily cause you to spiral real bad. But
Can I
yeah,
play devil's advocate on that for a moment?
yeah.
I don't necessarily agree or disagree. I do think there is risk to what you're saying though. If you try to do a prep to cover something up, it could result in a horrible outcome. But you do hear stories of people that were like drug addicts in the past or
Oh, 100%.
whatever,
Not a drug addict.
but had a rough life, right? For whatever
And that
reason,
got them
whether-
straight.
Right. They got into bodybuilding and that was the first time they ever had discipline or anything, and it
Yeah.
just changed their entire life, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I've also been through preps before where it was like going through a really tough time in life in general. And I would recommend, to your point, Marina, I would probably tell me as a client, like, hey, this might not be a good idea thinking about going through a prep here. Right. But like at those times, it was like I almost needed something to focus on
Yeah.
to take my mind out of the shit that was going on. And it was like that I could legitimately just wrap my mind around this, work, kids, done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was like as simple as that, where I didn't have to kind of plague myself with everything else that was going on. And it worked for me. All
Yeah.
the time. It didn't answer any of the problems or the questions to your point. Like there are still other things we had to do to work on the different shit that was going on. But at the end of the day, it was something that kind of, allowed me to keep my focus on something productive at least.
That's true. I like that perspective. Steve.
Definitely the first thing, especially with how expensive shit is now, is definitely the financial aspect. Definitely making sure that you understand what's going into it for that lifestyle and the competitive side of things before you even get started, to know if you can afford to do that and still have the money for bills and everything else. So that'll be the biggest thing. And then just talking to people probably that have been through the process and understanding what's about to hit you with it, right? From hunger, sleep going down the drain at some point, the mood swings, all that. And then 3, making sure all of the relationships you care about are actually stable. Would probably be like the 3 major things, because if something's like rocky, I don't know, say with your spouse, for example, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, most likely your first time going through it, that shit's probably going to get worse.
Yeah.
Because you're going to take all that shit out on those closest to you, right? We've all been there. It is what it is, right? Like there's no getting around it. And if it's already rocky, it's probably just going to make it worse, especially an individual's first time going through, right? Like they don't know those coping mechanisms of what works for them. Like when they feel like they're about to snap and they're starving and their legs feel like they're 100 pounds each and they can't like barely move. They just take it out, right? The more you do it, the better you get at understanding how to deal with those things, right? So those would be my.
So, yeah, fun fact. So when me and Matt started dating, I was in prep. I was like, I don't know why. Like, it just happened that I was in prep when we first started dating, and he like after we, after I prepped, whatever, like a few months later, he's like, like I really was gonna break up with you. He's like, I couldn't, like you were insane. So like I just told myself it was just prep and I stuck it out, and I'm like, you're a trooper.
Yeah, 3 months later, he's like, wow, this is a completely different person.
No, actually, yeah. So then like this prep, he's like, all right, like he definitely like braced himself, and like God bless him, he was able to deal with me the whole way. And I feel like every prep we've grown and learned about each other, which is really cool too. Like, so to Tim's point, or who said it? Was it Matt or Tim? Both of you. That like you can make it a positive thing. Like, yeah, it's gonna be tough as fuck, but if you go into it knowing it's gonna be tough and knowing that this is a time to learn and grow, then your relationship will grow if you approach it that way.
Awkward silence.
Sorry, I'm reading.
All right. So Steve, you got questions, dude? You're usually got 15 questions and everybody else is doing the questions. Where
I
are your
do.
questions at?
I do. I was just letting you guys talk.
Shoot, Chief. What are you thinking of cheesesteaks?
I am ordering one. I'll send you all a picture.
I'm gonna send a picture to Johnny.
He don't care. He don't care. So real quick, last night I had Five Guys and half the box of the Lucky Charms. I woke up, I was 2 pounds later. He don't care. He actually, fuck it. I'll add him in the group chat and send it to him too. So this is actually a new client of mine. She actually just started with me yesterday. I had a phone call with her. So she asked this. So she's dealing with, has Hashimoto's. So she just put if there's any recommendations for Hashimoto's. So my whole phone call with her was about this. So she's on 75 micrograms, obviously at T4. Tim, I don't know about you, but my first recommendation to an individual that has it is to get off a non-synthetic, or to get off the synthetic and go to a non-synthetic medication.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, I think it comes down to, we have Anna's one of my clients is actually in here right now, who started with me with Hashimoto's, and I think her number, if I'm not mistaken, and she could correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure we started there, her TPO antibodies, right? TPO ABs, which is the number that we look at to basically get the diagnosis of a Hashimoto's. I'm pretty sure for her, they were in like the 400s or three and change. I think it was like 370 something. Right, which isn't really that high comparatively to some of the other clients we've worked with in this arena. But like I would say, looking at those antibodies is the first thing and trying to get those down, right? Because at the end of the day, those antibodies are what the immune system is essentially producing to be able to go and attack our thyroid, right? And essentially break down that thyroid, right? And once that thyroid gets broken down over time, the thyroid's going to become much less efficient. So if we try to get those antibodies down, which most doctors will tell you the exact opposite, don't go after antibodies, it's a fool's errand, yada, yada, yada. But again, I've worked with a ton of Hashimoto's clients at this point, and Anna's a perfect example where her Hashimoto's numbers now, the last couple of times we've done blood work, have been under the scale of Hashimoto's for now. You're always going to have it once you have it. But whatever verbiage you want to use there, in remission or whatever, is where she's at right now. So we don't necessarily have to worry about the declining thyroid as much in that case because those antibodies are down. But for her, she is on a synthetic T3, T4 replacement. So I really think that does come down to the individual and where they're at within that thyroid functionality. Because again, if somebody's thyroid is, maybe at the tail end of production there, right? And it's kind of being broken down, it's on its last leg. They might need that synthetic T4, T3 replacement versus something like an Armor that's just a smaller dosage, essentially. You know what I mean? And more of a bioidentical option as far as that's concerned, right? So I think either way it could be supportive, but I think it really depends on how far along somebody's thyroid is. And again, looking at it from the perspective, we want to minimize the destruction here. Let's minimize those antibodies as best we can. And you're essentially going to do that through supporting reduces in inflammation, reductions in overall oxidative stress, and kind of supporting the immune system as best you can.
Yeah. So with her, right, Tim, she's coming from a nutritionist that was from the hospital, the same hospital that the doctor was that diagnosed her with Hashimoto's 2 years ago. So her diet was the first thing I looked at, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this has to change. So she barely has any fats, and the doctor was counting all her carbs from just her veggies. So,
What?
yeah. So I said, she's like, well, I wasn't losing weight. So the nutritionist just said, oh, okay. They cut her fats from 70 to 25. And this was over a year ago. And her carbs are at 170. And from my calculations, about 140 of them are coming straight from veggies.
Whoa.
So what is she
that's a lot
eating
of
all
veg,
day?
dude.
Like egg whites?
Yeah.
She's eating chicken,
Zucchini?
she's eating greens, like it, but it's just not, there's no specific greens, which I said is
Dude,
also wrong.
Yeah, but even
Should-
chicken, how much chicken could you eat to be at 25 grams
Her-
of fat? Like,
so
sooner or later, even
she's-
that adds
Yeah.
up.
So reference, right, she's 150 some pounds and her protein was at like 70 some grams.
Wow.
Yeah, no, so like I'm doing the math and I'm like, yeah, you're being starved essentially.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, first thing, obviously your fats are going up because we have to reduce inflammation. We're gonna obviously lower all these veggies. We're gonna get you on veggies that aren't gonna cause it. Like you need a complete overhaul here. I was like, I guarantee you're gonna feel better, like
Yeah.
within a month, or a few
Instantly,
weeks.
yeah.
So I told her too, we're gonna switch all your meat. I said, obviously, as long as you can afford it, we're gonna switch it to grass fed, right, on organic. Just so we're not getting all the extra in there. Cause I was like, your gut's probably so inflamed. She said that they checked her gut and she gave like a stool sample, but it wasn't a GI map test. So she didn't know what the name was. I said, if you can find out and send me the results, great. But I'm gonna send her for a GI map from Omniwell.
They're usually just not the stool samples or the stool testing that they do for most physicians that I've seen as far as traditional allopathic medicine doctors, right? It's just they're not very like I have a client right now who he did a stool test before he came to me and everything was perfectly fine via that stool test. We sent him to go get a GI map immediately because of the symptoms that he had, and he had one of the most fucked up GI maps I've ever seen in my entire life. And we're still, this is a year later, we're still working on correcting that GI map after getting multiple GI maps done for him. So, it's, to your point, it's garbage. You made a good point though, as far as the fats are concerned, because I think one thing that I see, we know carbohydrates and thyroid function are closely correlated, right? Like we need carbs, especially in women. This has been shown over and over and over again. We need carbs to maintain healthy thyroid functionality, right? And we see that even through like regular dieting practices. Like one of the things that our body does to drive efficiency and adaptation for survival purposes is to slow down thyroid function when you lower carbohydrate. Like that's just part of what we do. We see it, we know it, we work with it. So and usually we want the impact carbs, right? So we want those carbohydrates that are going to have an insulinogenic effect, not the veggies that Steve was talking about. But with that being said, like you still got it. Like we I talked about the inflammation, and then Steve brought up like getting quality meats, driving the fats up. Like that's where you're going to be able to kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like naturally, again, for the lack of a better word, or holistically, whatever you want to call it, support those pathways as far as the body's anti-inflammatory response systems.
Yep. Dude, I felt terrible. I feel terrible for her still. Like, I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a shame. Like, you have Hashimoto's and you're being given like that advice. It's pretty,
Yeah.
You think you're going to the right person for help and you end up in a worse position than you
She
ended up
started-
in the first
I
place.
felt terrible. She started crying on the phone. And I'm like, listen, like, well, I'm gonna do the best I can, you know what I mean? But I'm like, you're just with the proper nutritional changes, you'll feel like a whole different person.
Mm-hmm.
She also hasn't had her period in close to a year, she said, which is also,
Yeah.
I said, and that's probably nutritional, I told her.
Yeah, well, it's probably, I mean, that's probably another sign of, inflammation going on there and her not having a system that's working cohesively.
Yep. Yeah, I told her, I
Yeah.
said, but they also recommended that she goes to the cardio every day. So she's been doing her treadmill at home every single day for the last year. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably just going to tell you to not do any cardio for a while.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally.
She told me, she's like, I'm going to be honest. I might have a hard time doing that. I said, listen, I don't want you stepping on that treadmill. It's not like at all. I said, I don't want you going to the gym for the whole next week. I said, I'll have your training done. I said, you're only going to be training 3 days a week, just so you know. And like she said, she's like, this is going to be mentally very hard for me because I'm so accustomed to just going to Edge Fitness every day. I said, well, it's going to be a new habit that's going to better you in the coming months. But that's so crazy, man. Like that there's people advising that shit.
It's tough too, because now you have to correct it. So it's one of those things where it's like when somebody gets put through something, right, and they find like maybe they get a result, right? Maybe they were starved and they got a result. But now in their mind, it's like they have an attachment to this process. Whether in this case, maybe she didn't get a result, but she's built some sort of like she's accustomed to this now, right? Like it's part of her life now. Like it feels good to go do cardio every morning. You were talking about that last episode. It does. It feels good to go do that every morning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we build this kind of like, this routine around it, this lifestyle around it. It works. But then it's like, and again, the entire time she's doing it because she thinks it's right. And like now we have to come along and be like, yeah, unfortunately, and now you got to change everything all over again. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
Whether, like I said, right, wrong, or different, the reality is when, like I said, even if somebody gets a result there, now their first thought process every time they gain weight is, oh, I got to go no carb because that's what worked for me last time. You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude, there's always like, it sucks that there's that much misinformation out there, especially from the right sources, apparently.
Oh, here you go. All right. So her protein 71 grams. I just put it up. Her carbs are 165 and her fats are 26. So she's eating about 1,176 calories, 77. That's crazy.
So 1,076 calories?
1,176 calories a day.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
And 60% is from broccoli.
That
and
sounds
she
like a
hasn't-
Justin Batterina diet from peak week. That's how Justin got the stage.
Oh, he just came in here.
I know. That's what I
That's why he
said.
said it. I didn't see his name. I was looking at the Zoom.
I wish he ate that much food. That way his hair fell out and I'd feel better about myself. I'll be there to clean it up, Justin. I'm going to scotch tape it on the back of my head.
All right. Next question.
What's your favorite compound pre-contest and off-season?
And a draw.
And a
Really?
draw pre-stage.
No, I'm just, Justin just said it. I didn't mean what he said.
I was like, damn, hardcore.
Wait, what's your favorite compound off season and pre-contest?
Yeah. You guys are gonna laugh at mine. I like Anavar.
No, you guys are gonna laugh at mine.
I was
for
just gonna
sure.
say I've only taken Anavar, so Anavar.
There you go.
Why do you like Anavar so much?
Marina.
Matt,
Oh, what?
I don't
Oh,
give a fuck
no.
what Marina
Yeah,
likes.
I
She
don't.
only she only takes 10 milligrams. I don't care what she likes.
Dude, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just getting fake Anavar or something, but every time I take it, I just fucking get strong as hell and I look huge, dude. I don't know what the fuck.
I look
I mean, I'm
like-
also taking like 50 or 100 milligrams of it, so that'll do it. But
Yeah. I like how you went to maybe it's fake like right away. Like maybe it's fake.
Maybe
it's-
No, I think honestly, I think 100 milligrams of Anavar. I've only done it once, 100 milligrams of Anavar, and it was
100
prescription.
milligrams?
Yeah, and it was prescription.
I did it for
Literally,
like 2 weeks, but I looked fucking huge for those 2 weeks. And I was
And
strong
the
as
pump-
fuck.
You
the
did.
pump is absolutely retarded.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say
absolutely retarded.
your pump probably hurts because mine
Yeah.
do,
Now,
and I
now
take
let's
10.
accompany that with like 8 to 10 units of Humalog pre-workout
Yeah.
and like
Okay.
75 intra carbs.
Yeah, and 8 IUs of growth.
Yeah, your
Jesus.
skin's splitting.
Jesus.
Marina, read
That
the
was the
question again
best.
for me. Yeah, you looked crazy.
Are you
Marina,
oh,
It's Matt's question.
what's your favorite compound pre-contest and off-season? I know what you're gonna say for off-season.
Yeah, it's probably MPP
Yeah, I know it's gonna be MVP.
for sure. That shit is gold. It's liquid gold. It makes you just big, full, strong, horny.
So that's your
all of it.
go-to for that's your go-to off-season and pre-contest?
No, off season. Pre-contest, I start people on it. Like if it's
Yeah,
like
I
a 20,
think
20 week, yeah, for sure.
Well,
Yeah, that's
I don't care what you start people on. What's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite. Pre-contest. Oh fuck. I hate them all. I hate
Yeah.
them all. I can't Primo. Trent, I can't stand Trent.
I'm gonna go trend, honestly. Pre-show, I'm definitely going trend without a doubt. No
I
question.
mean,
I know
you're
I
right.
wish I was a boy
I
so I
might-
could contribute.
I might not like the way it makes me feel entirely. And honestly, for me, it really does come down to the night sweats and the anxiety. Like those are the two things that will really like
it's
drive up
it's
for
the
me big time.
neurotoxins, man. It's fucking horrible.
Riley Trent.
But at the end of the day, the result that you
No,
get from
Riley's
it,
is
the way
bison.
you feel in the gym, bro. I could be 2 weeks out and I'm still overhead pressing on a barbell, fucking 2 plates, and my shoulder is going to detach any second,
Of
and I
course.
feel like I feel like Jesus.
Is that before the halo or after?
I've never done Halo ever.
Dude,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Last
never.
year when I did Halo in 2022, it made me really angry and like nothing.
Super Jaw is my favorite, Justin. I've said it before. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I nothing really gets me angry at all. Nothing. I can take Trend, no issues. I agree actually. Trend, you changed my mind, Tim. Trend's my favorite because I feel fucking great on it, dude. I'll say that after offline. Anyway, what were we talking about? Super Draw now?
Justin brought up Super Draw. That was my. I brought that one up before too. That's usually my. That would be my go-to if it were something that I could tolerate for long periods of time. But really, that is kind of like a momentary thing that I would put in there. And for that fucking 2 or 3 weeks, man, that's another one where you feel fucking fantastic. Honestly, pre-show, maybe like whatever. I don't know, like 10 days out, 12 days out, I'll start taking the Super Draw or start putting people on it depending on who it is and how much fullness they need.
Super makes me anxious. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
Nothing gives me anxiety besides super.
Really? It's Anadrol for me is actually the worst. Anadrol. First time I took Anadrol, I honestly thought that I was having a heart attack, and like I couldn't figure out why I was having panic attacks. And then I'm also taking 50 milligrams of Anadrol before I go train. And I'm like, well, maybe this is it. Crazy heart palpitations later too, like not as I was taking it.
Creatine for MILF lover.
Creatine.
Creatine's favorite compound is booty. Who's he lying to? Or MILFs.
All right,
What's going on
I'm
in here?
gonna
These women
I'm
are
gonna
having
ask a quick one. Where's Emily? Is Emily in here? I'm asking Emily's question. Yeah, she's in here. Suggestions for people that overcomplicate the technique when lifting and lead to overthinking. So I think
stop over.
just execute. Stop. Just turn your mind off.
Dak actually made a good post today, and he literally posted a screenshot of a conversation that he was having with a client, and the client was asking questions about like feet wedges or something like that, and his immediate post back to him was just, stop worrying about things I'm not telling you to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. But like actually one thing I think people like the setup of the movement, like I feel like you can overthink the setup to make sure it properly fits your body and whatever, but once you're in there and you're doing it, just fucking executes. Just shut up. Shut up.
So I guess it depends on the experience of the lifter. Like if we're talking about it a beginner, like yeah, you want to think about the technique and the form. But stick to the basics. Don't worry about optimizing the strength curve and all that bullshit, right? Just use full range of motion and be cognizant of the form, right? Now if you're an elite or a more experienced level lifter, and you're just overcomplicating everything because everything needs to be science-based these days, just don't, right? Like they said, just freaking train hard.
Yeah, if it's Emily, this is Emily's question,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say work with Marina on getting some movements that you're 100% confident and comfortable with that will translate over to whatever, you know what I mean? Like if it's a deadlift, for example, like maybe building up some strength on a 45-degree hip extension first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then progressing into a deadlift. If it's a squat, maybe nailing that hack squat first, and then going to a Smith machine and then doing a barbell back squat might be the path to take, something along those lines, depending on what the movement is and what we're talking about. Is there a regression for the movement that makes sense for somebody at that point?
SC Fit says he was in his head today when he was trying to execute power cleans. So I can't talk to any type of Olympic lift. I've never done any of that, but I imagine it's a lot more technical than anything that a bodybuilder would do. So I imagine you just have to be in a more like dexterous mindset to even execute those type of movements. So
Yeah.
I can't relate much.
Yeah. I don't think any of us can. I think that to your point, Matt, like that is, wouldn't the whole point of that being the technicality of it? Like, you know what I
Not
mean?
the
Like
whole point. You got to be strong to some extent.
yeah, I guess that's true too. But like you have to, you also have to execute it the right way though, so that it's a proper like
Counts.
that's so that it counts. Yeah, whatever.
All right. Let's see what I got. Okay, so this person wrote to me, this is only an observation, but why is it when someone is a natural competitor, do we see more of an emphasis or so much more of an emphasis on being natural versus enhanced?
Wait, what?
So
Did anybody get that?
yeah, so
She's talking about holier than now natties.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, so essentially this
fuck.
person's saying this is just an observation, but why is it? When I see somebody who is a natural competitor, do I see them emphasizing the natural part that much more than when somebody is an enhanced bodybuilder?
So
Meaning, I think it's
Go
like
ahead.
if like somebody's natural, they make sure everybody knows I'm natural, right? Like
it's in their bio, like
yes, natural
Yeah, that's a little
bodybuilder.
crazy, right?
Yeah,
I think it just has to come down to ego and like self-esteem, honestly. Like if someone is holding so tightly onto that, why? You know, like you have to you have to ask the question, why are they holding on so tightly to that? Now, like, yeah, is it also
Riley, your
like
coach tells me your cycles, you liar.
who?
Riley.
Oh yeah, Riley.
We just dropped Riley down from 600 milligrams of Deca back down to 300 milligrams. So
Phew.
now he's
So
now
he's
now
Oh,
sad
that's why
that-
he
yeah,
looks small in
yeah.
the gym
He's on
today.
joint replacement therapy.
That's why he looks small in the gym today. Where he's
Joint, it's joint
Yeah,
replacement
exactly.
therapy. It's all good, Riley.
Yeah,
Natural.
joint replacement therapy.
Natural.
Yeah, that's a fake kneecap right there.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I don't know why. Like
I don't know. I think
because
it's
people think that it makes them better, but it doesn't. You're still getting
Why-
beat.
why do Matt and Steve going around bragging about their booster shots, or like why do vegans go around bragging about being a vegan? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's just I don't know. It's something that somebody identifies as and they hold on to. I think in the bodybuilding world, though, the weird thing to me is like the reason why they brag about it and whatnot, and then it's to them. I think it's always it is the healthier thing, right? Like it's the healthier route, and it's like in my opinion, it's like I'm not going to say being a drug bodybuilder is healthier in any way, shape, or form. I think that'd be a stupid thing to say, right? But at the same time, it's also like you're not healthy being a bodybuilder, period. Plain, sweet, and simple, done, stop.
Done,
I don't care if
yeah.
you're natural. I don't care if you're unnatural. The bottom line is you're not healthy. We're
Mhm.
choosing to go an
Yeah.
extreme route one way or the other. You're going to end up with some sort of side effect one way or the other.
Yep.
There's no two ways around it. Saying somebody is better or somebody is worse is because they're natural or unnatural is fucking stupid.
So
Mhm.
it's not really to the question, but I've done preps. I've done 2 preps natural, and I don't even know how many on gear. What I can say, like the recovery from a natural prep is actually a lot harder because
harder.
your fucking hormones are non-existent because you have no body fat, right? Like you're
Yeah.
fucked. So like I just remember really being tired, like no libido, just kind of like basically feeling like a pre-contest for a while after the show because your hormones take so much longer to recover because you're not fucking injecting it as
Well,
TRT, right?
Your boy Chris also did a study on that too, where they looked at, I think it was himself, maybe. They looked at least a competitor, and to be, I think I remember a female and a male competitor for X amount of months post show to see when their hormonal panel or blood work in general rebounded to where it was pre-show. And I can't quote me on this, but I think in one instance it took like four plus months for it to bounce back to where it was. So that's what think about everybody post show, right? Like they're in the gym, they're trying to train really hard, they want to make that progress. Whereas for a natural person, it's like, dude, you don't even, it's like you serve no chance of progressing your physique within those first 4 months because you're essentially under what your natural production of everything is. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're still in that recovery phase.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it. I really don't. I see it all the time though, but probably an ego thing, like you said, Tim, is something that somebody that's natural holds on to. I don't know. I don't. It's
Yeah.
bodybuilding. It's chemical warfare at the end of the day.
Mhm.
If it's not, it's not very exciting. Anyway,
It's true.
moving on. Does anybody know who the natural Mr. Olympia is right now?
Yeah, it's me.
It's me.
Can you name a natural Olympian or whatever their show is?
Doug
Olympia.
Miller was. That was
I
probably.
was going to say
the
Doug
one.
Miller. Dude,
I don't
his
think Doug Miller
hamstrings,
ever
man.
was he? I don't think he ever won like any.
Oh, I don't know. The dude
Yeah, I
looks
don't think he
crazy.
ever did.
though.
I think the last year he competed, he just decided to crush a whole bunch of NPC shows and then just walk away and
Yeah.
never compete again. But Doug Miller is the man though. He's fucking jacked for a natty.
Oh, it's insane.
He's on growth hormone. What are night before and morning of show days like?
Morning of
Night before and morning of show days.
quiet. Please
What?
don't fucking bother me. Getting tanned and just listening to what your
Yeah.
coach tells you to eat.
Tanning and
Keeping
eating.
your feet up and quiet.
Tanning and eating.
Quiet, less
Yeah.
stress. No stress, not less stress, no stress. Quiet, don't talk to anybody who raises your anxiety, stress levels. If it's, you know what I mean? If it's your significant other spouse, just, they gotta understand, 12 hours.
And
maybe big,
posing, and that's it.
Pose, between meals, send your pictures to your coach, listen to what they say, and get your feet off the floor.
Don't get super stoned the night before Easterns and text your coach at like 1 in the morning that you can't sleep and you're gonna lose because you lost all your look.
Is that what you did?
He did in
Yeah,
fact do
yeah.
that,
I
yes.
could
Dude,
literally, I could literally see this.
I blame a friend of ours that was in the room because I was trying to sneak out of there, but he was reeling me in with a story. We just kept passing it back and forth.
It's 100% me right there.
Oh, Oh my God, Tim is crying.
At 1 a.m., I'm like, I'm not going tomorrow. I'm not doing it. I'm actually not going.
I forget what I texted you back.
Dude, you're literally like, just shut your eyes, bro. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I did, and I immediately fell asleep.
I forgot about that. Oh my God. But I don't think I don't think I smoked though, because I was like, dude, I have to
didn't.
focus. I have
Yeah,
to
you didn't.
focus.
No, it was just me and our mutual friend.
I refuse to do that when it's like work and business is on the line like that. There's no shot. I won't.
I can't work if I'm high.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't work if I'm high. I have to wait until everything's done. Like when I know my last competitor is going to bed and I have to be up at 5 a.m., I will smoke once or twice
not
just
me.
to be able to go to sleep. Just to be able to go to sleep. I have to.
Not me.
Otherwise,
I can't.
I won't sleep on a show night, dude. Like even
I don't
like
either.
Marina knows. I'm gonna be fucked up one way or the other come show day. But like the last thing, not getting any sleep just makes it so much worse.
Big Cat, the last 3 years, I haven't fucking slept for 2 days straight.
We've
Yeah,
been up till like 2 o'clock in the morning feeding people.
No, last year I got zero fucking sleep at all. I didn't sleep one fucking minute in that. But you were there, weren't you? A Big Cat? Yeah,
It
with
was
me.
actually it was a big cat.
Yeah, bro.
'Cause
I didn't
I
sleep
was
at
there
all. You
too.
saw it. We were up the whole night.
Yeah.
You know, and what's 1 hour if you get 1-2 hours of sleep doing when you're peaking fucking 14 people? Nothing. It's not restoring your brain. You know what's
Okay.
crazy, Tim? I still didn't have
Oh.
any caffeine.
See, you say that I would need even if I could get 2 hours of sleep, that would be like I would need something. I have to.
You're that
Like,
Like
guy.
I'm the type where I have to have something.
I've
I have to
had-
get something.
I had 200 milligrams of caffeine at 4 o'clock this morning. I'm good.
No, I'm not saying caffeine. I'd say sleep. Sleep. I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were
yeah,
saying you
no,
need the
no.
caffeine.
I need caffeine too, but I would need sleep more than I would need caffeine.
Oh yeah. The older I get, the more I need to sleep. Like waking up at 3 every
100%.
morning is fucking hard now, man.
That's brutal.
Okay, I have my last question. This is a Bree's question. When did you lose your period in prep / get back after prep? Any tips to keep it longer / get it back quicker? So I actually went on my period tracker system and looked it up and wrote the dates down. So the first day of my last period in prep was June 2nd.
So what,
Then
8 weeks
I-
out?
June
10 weeks out?
2nd,
It was July. Last weekend of July was the first show.
July
Okay,
29th.
so 7 weeks out?
7-ish weeks out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would make
okay.
sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, June 2nd, and then I got it back October 7th. So last show was August 12th, and I got it 2 months. August
Okay.
2nd, about 2 months later. So actually, it was pretty even. So I got it 7 weeks out and got it back about 8 weeks.
15 weeks.
post
So
show.
15 weeks total. You didn't have it.
June 2nd to October 7th.
It
Yeah.
was like 4 months, yeah.
That's so crazy. And then any tips to keep it longer / get it back quicker? So keep it longer. Honestly, like refeeds to keep your system moving, but it's gonna happen one way or another. And then get it back quicker. Reducing stress. So reducing that cardio, increasing your calories, nice and slow. But again, it's just gonna be a time game because you are so far from your body's normal. Your body is not happy. You just have to give your body time.
Yeah, hers took
Dude,
a while.
Bree's gonna expect a refeed on her plan now.
She ain't getting shit.
Bree, you got 0 refeeds.
No, she got refeeds, but also too, like, it was her first show, and that baby fat, you gotta fucking suffer to tap into that shit. So it's like,
Oh, for sure.
just because you think you need a refeed every 14 days, like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, okay, we're 4 weeks out. We're not concerned with the menstrual cycle right now. We're concerned with getting the fucking shape, you know? So, but we dropped like fucking 40, 50 pounds with her. And I think the last week alone, just peaking her, we took 7 pounds off from fucking Saturday to Saturday.
No way.
Yeah, I just started giving her H2O remove and it just started fucking flushing out.
Probably a good sign of how stressed her body was after losing that 40, 50
It
pounds.
was though,
That's
but
the thing.
I also cut back on cardio that week, like significantly. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not taking much more body fat off Brie at this point. We're 6 days out, you know?
Yeah.
But her food was low that whole week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, like you said, 4 weeks out, like you can't like at the end of the day, trying to prioritize keeping your cycle in a
Mhm.
prep
Yeah,
is
you're gonna
probably
sacrifice the
worst
look.
thing that you can
Counterintuitive.
do. Yeah, like if anything, trying to maybe I don't know, manage or make sure that your hormones are in a good operative area in your off season is probably the best thing that you could do for yourself as a female. I mean, listen, we were just talking about natural versus unnatural. Like like at the end of the day, there's more now to support the reality of the deleterious health outcomes of being in a significantly depleted hormonal state, whether it's a male or a female, right? And how long were you just saying, Marina? It was 4 months for you,
4
2
months.
months? What was it?
4 months.
So you're 4 months without a cycle over the course of a 12-month year. Like the reality is, in a lot of cases for women, like we're putting them in a position where we know it's almost unrealistic to think that a female is going to keep their cycle. Is it possible? Yes. Is it realistic to go into a prep thinking that way? No. Right. And this is a thing that a female has to answer to themselves or have to ask themselves when they're going into competition. And it's something that they're going to do over and over and over again. Like, am I ready to sacrifice this? And males have to do it too, just in different ways. We're sacrificing kidney function. We're sacrificing our heart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So it's one of those things where it's like, again, you just have to understand this is a risk of competing. And we're going to either be okay with that or you're not going to be okay with that. But it's like, I would go into prep with the thought process of like, oh, how am I going to keep my hormones longer? It's like, hey, let that be something that happens when it happens. It goes when it goes. And then you work hard to get it back thereafter by managing all things that we can manage to be able to respect our hormones a little bit more. But during a prep, I think it's just fool's errand to look for that.
I mean, Tim, our hormones get fucked up too, like greatly
100%.
short. They restore quicker than a female. But I mean, dude, you're going like 4 to 6, 7, 8 weeks without like being able to get a boner or anything. It's fucking cool.
Oh, get out of here, bro. Yes, give me the trend and I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Why do you think I like Trent so much?
Yeah.
Getting close to a show.
My wife can't show like an inch of skin when I'm on trend.
Yeah, basically walking around vibrating 24/7. But yeah, but that's the thing though, for us, and again, if we're talking to natural, then we could talk about, but like for us, there is no significant down regulation because we're pumping those hormones into us.
Right.
Whereas for women, it's still TRT for women is still a very taboo thing and not necessarily something that's really, and again, even TRT, that's not going to stop somebody from losing their cycle. But at the end of the day, at least there's some representation of those hormones available still. You know what I mean? Because obviously with testosterone, we'll get some downstream conversion to estrogen, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, again, it's one of those things where it becomes a very tough thing for a female because they know they need to keep it from a health perspective, but we also know
We're doing something unhealthy.
I.e. back to, no bodybuilding is healthy.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Damn,
Marina, you have any more?
I do not.
I have one more. It's I have one more that came through. We actually touched on it last week, I think. But perspective on injection frequency, any benefit to having higher frequency injections.
Thank you. Could be touched on, but it depends on the compound. I think it can, depending on the compound, right? I think that's number one. It can benefit, obviously, like the fluctuation of the hormone in the body, right? The up and down, you know what I mean? Like, if I have somebody doing sus, you're not doing that shit twice a week. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to do that shit every other day, at least,
Say regardless of the compound, I just like more frequent injections for myself personally, and that'd be my recommendation.
I was just about to say, even with test SIP or test D, like I have a few clients now where I just have them doing like 30 to 40 a day, you know what I mean? And like, it's gonna equal your, that total anyway, something like that. Some of them are doing that, like the cruise, you know what I mean? just
Yeah,
keeps this
I noticed
level
a
stable.
difference. Yeah, I noticed a difference with the levels being stable with everyday frequency, and that's the main reason I'll always keep it high frequency. And same thing we touched on it last week, just less oil volume.
Yeah, big time. That one. And, it's been so long since I've only injected once a week. And like I was literally in my 20s at that, like right early. So honestly, I don't even remember. I remember instability, like big time instability of hormonal level. Because remember, my natural test is so low that
Right.
like when I would not, if I didn't inject soon enough, frequently enough, that I would come so far back down that I would feel like ultimate shit again. But again, that was also one of those things where I was so young and like not really experienced, where I might go like whatever 2 weeks without an injection. You know what I mean? I was just lazy with it, didn't really want to do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't really remember like injecting even once a week and how that felt because I have been injecting more frequently for so long. And I don't see a reason really not to do even just multiple, like at least 2 injections a week. Like, why would you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people too, like, if we have you cruising or on a cycle, like you can't miss shots. Like, it's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
you
was
gotta,
gonna say, I feel like maybe for some people, another plus side of injecting every day is just so that you remember.
well, that too. Yeah, no, that's
Because then it's like you
really
forget,
good.
like, oh wait, it's Monday. Oh, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to,
Yeah. I mean, I think for like if it's somebody like that's like a newbie, right? Like Marina, I'm not gonna have Matt inject every day. There's no shot in hell.
he wouldn't have been, he would be like, I quit.
He wouldn't do it. Exactly, right? So like I think also too from the coaching side, you have to be mindful of who you're advising to do that. You want to obviously do it proper, but like at least every other day. If you want to be on PEDs, you just got to get used to the needles
Is
come with
Ian
that
Smith?
territory.
Oh, Ian Smith just joined.
Yo, Ian, what's up, dude?
That's
Do you
random.
think, do you think there's ever been a dumbass that's tried to do like 1 week injections in like peak off season and just like nailing 3 cc's of Masteron and 3 cc's of test and
Oh,
three
I'm sure.
cc's of whatever else?
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
mean, I've definitely done one injection a week before, but like I said, that was so long ago. Well, not peak off season though. No, not yeah, not 3 cc's.
Just 750 tests, 600 Masteron.
Just my son, just straight up 750 test. That is the cycle all at
It's just
once.
one
Mondays.
whole.
Come catch me on Mondays, baby. I'm fucking walking hard on.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Joe, you just saw me. What the fuck? Tim, you have
right.
any others or no?
Anymore?
Nope, I'm all out. And I got a phone call to be on at 7:45. So
Okay, I just had one more. It was how much liquid do you recommend consuming intra-workout for gut health? So I messaged him, but he didn't answer back. But I have, depending on who the client is, I have a question on their check-in form where I ask them how they're feeling from a digestive standpoint during their training outside, and then I have another one for like how they're feeling just on the normal day, like on their day. So I will say like if I have like 50 grams of carbs, I think you should be getting like at least double the ounces of that. Or not, I'm sorry, not double the ounces, like a liter. So I'll do like 32 ounces, right? So like at least half of that. So just like call it safe with like 32 ounces. I'll tell somebody if they're telling me like they're having issues with that, I'll either lower the carb intake with the water intake, right? Because I'm not gonna have 50 carbs of powder, you know what I mean, with like 16 ounces or 10 ounces of water. So I just kind of ask that question depending on who the client is and the individual to base it off that, right? But majority of people aren't having 50 grams of carbs intra anyway. So typically, I think like a lot of clients are between like 12 to 16 with like their EAAs, or if it's like or their glutamine, creatine, things like that. And I don't see an issue with it. But I ask that question so at least I have that data and that feedback to judge it. You know what I mean? Because I don't think most people aren't going to just tell you like, especially a lifestyle client, like, hey, I'm drinking this liter of water you're telling me to, and I'm bloating. And then there's some clients who tell me like they have a fucking gallon during training. They don't mind, you know, because they sweat, so much. So I think it just depends.
yeah, I think it definitely depends, but I think you're better off erring on the side of as much water as you can physically like,
Yeah,
handle at that
consume,
time,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not like an issue. At the end of the day, we know we want to be hydrated for athletic performance purposes, but to your point, Steve, like when you are having the carbs, the amino acids, like those things need transportation, and you're only going to get that via the water.
With the proper
So it's one of those things where it's kind of a necessity at that point, but I guess it does come down to somebody's like tolerable level. But as far as gut health is concerned, I guess they mean like maintaining, like not shitting themselves or not feeling like their stomach hurting, right? Because like we ran into this last time with the gut question, where it's like gut health is going to be a little bit different. Like drinking carbohydrates into your workout probably aren't great for your gut health anyway. You know what I mean? So long term anyway. But again, I think that's a little bit of a verbiage thing.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Cool.
All done?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone on the live for joining. Submit your questions next week to participate, and we'll catch you next week.